I start the interview, do remember to subscribe to my channel and press the like button. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the e-commerce way. Today, I have the amazingly talented, award-winning Anjana Sharma, who's all about style, and her forte is lifestyle and luxury. With her, we have Amtosh Singh, the curator of Cool from Prop Shop 24, an amazing out-of-the-box thinker who is so busy he doesn't have time to answer his phone anymore. And of course, Sharmila, who always chooses the most amazing topics for us. So I'd like to start with Sharmila, whose daughter Shan Khanna, with Sharmila, started lifestyle exhibitions under Spicy Sangria. And during the pandemic, they've had to change their way of thinking and selling. So Sharmila, will you tell us a little bit about that?
Hi everyone. Yes, we started Spicy Sangria about 2011.
11 years ago.
And first it was literally something Shan started doing, and she started blogging and she started saying, you know, where to get things, and the whole world used to call us up to find out which designer, where to buy these clothes, where to go, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Over the years, when I joined her now, we have done shows from Singapore to Nagpur to Ahmedabad to Bangalore, Bombay.
Yeah.
And I cannot even begin to tell you her concept of doing it compared to what mine was earlier is amazing. She wants every designer who's affordable, whether the economy was good or bad. She wanted for everyone to come on and shop, and not everything to be like in thousands. She had a limit. She used to take on designers who were eclectic, who were boho chic, who were different. Not designers that you would get in like an ensemble or the big stores, Azar or Evolution or Collage. But I realized then that there's so much talent, there's so much work, and people love this price point. Because however much you want to buy a big name, you always want 5 of those cheaper range to just keep wearing all the time. Absolutely. Then we started in this lockdown, we started a Spicy Sangria online edit. I cannot even begin to tell you how well we have done. We have first given literally, not financially, a free shout out to all our designers who have been with us throughout to slowly get back to work. Because don't forget, their karigars and all were migrants. They've all went away. So they didn't have much staff. Plus the collection they made in Jan, Feb was not shown anywhere, because before you know it, in March, we were shut down. You know? So we just give a great shout out. In that shout out, it became like a Spicy Sangria edit where our design, I can't even tell you the amount of calls I started getting. Where can I contact this designer? Where can I buy this? How do I get this? Now, don't forget, when we first started lockdown, there was no courier. No couriers to come into Bombay. So that was another headache. So it was initially from Bombay to Bombay. And I have a delivery person. He would go on a cycle, not even a scooter, to deliver things. I was helping people deliver their dresses or clothes or home products, whatever they bought. So I realized, my God, this is amazing. Now, my household is very, very tuned on to online. My house gets a packet from Amazon every day, a packet from Nykaa every day. So we are used to it. Everybody else is also used to it now, but they are not used to buying clothes. Like even before lockdown, Shan would order Zara, sitting here with the Zara shop next door. She would say, no, Mom, I don't have time for that. She would book it online and it would come. And I would say, why can't you just go there and pick it up? And she said, no, it's a headache. So everybody now in the lockdown, with food, with any of your groceries, everything has gone online. So whether you like it or not, you have to learn to be online. My question is to these two to find out how they have rocked it online. But is this going to stay? And are there Indian customers for this? I need to know if India is shopping, because our economy is so bad.
It's very bad. So Anjana, I'd like to ask you, the style diva, the industry influencer, the award-winning creative head of Purnia's pop-up shop. What happened during the lockdown for you as creative head of Purnia's? And what are the changes you saw?
Not a single day of zero sales. That's the shocker.
That's amazing.
And how and why?
I was questioning humanity actually to start with, because I said there's no couriers happening like Sharmila mentioned. And that was a longish period of time. And nobody knew where deliveries were going to happen, but they were still putting money down. And mind you, this is not COD and I'm talking about. But people were still shopping. Maybe they were bargain hunting. Maybe it was retail therapy. And overnight, we shifted from an international primary audience to an Indian audience. Suddenly they were all. So, and now we are kind of back to the original numbers where the international is a little more than the Indian, but we've actually grown organically in India through the lockdown.
So the Indian audience, you mean to say with the economy the way it is, the Indian audience was still buying online and not COD?
I have no idea where they're going, considering, I mean, obviously the big fat Indian wedding has been redefined. I don't know where they're going wearing these clothes, but I'm not complaining anymore. If that's what they want to do, so be it. We on our end, in a conscious way, are trying to find a balance, like Sharmila said, of slightly more affordable, slightly more, environmental friendly. Yes. Our home products have gone through the roof. Earlier, our home section was a smaller section, but we found, because suddenly you realize you're sitting in the house, you want a beautiful environment. You don't know how long you're going to be stuck here.
Yes.
So I think there was a lot of learning through the initial couple of months, fine-tuning products, curating, being more agile and shifting focus. And understanding that word red carpet is a little buried on the side for a while.
Okay.
So now, terminology wise, you just redefine everything to the not so big fat Indian wedding, for example.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Anjana. Amtosh, the curator of Cool, I want to ask you, where do props fit into this, and how did that happen during the pandemic?
So the good thing about us is that since we have so many categories and we are essentially a curator, it gives us the flexibility to launch products across categories as far as they're relevant. So once the lockdown started and we had no idea how long it would last, a few weeks passed, and I think by mid-April, we all knew that we were in this for the long run.
Yes.
And immediately the first thing that we started doing is stopped everything and created a long list of stuff that we think people would like to shop in the lockdown. So that would include stuff like safety essentials, masks, a lot of kitchen gadgets, since there's so many people who are cooking now who haven't been cooking. So shortcuts to, kitchen, like slicing your garlic and your vegetables and things like that. A lot of people were doing DIY projects, coloring books, puzzles, things like that. So we created a long list. In addition to that, people were now looking to be healthy, launched a lot of healthy snacks and healthy brands onto the site. Okay. So the important thing, I think, for us is that we move fast.
Yes.
While the lockdown was on, courier companies weren't operating. We were receiving orders, but we had put our marketing off since we weren't sure when we could ship them. And once we started our warehouse again, we sat and called all those orders we had received during the 2 months to reconfirm them and then ship them out. And once the warehouse started, we started our marketing again. And because we already had a really relevant curation then, it started like just flying through the roof. And before we got on the call, like Sharmila mentioned, a lot of stuff is sold out is because that so many new categories, we're still having some trouble catering to how much the demand is.
Working with our vendors. Excuse me, is this in India or international?
We ship only in India. We ship only in India. We don't ship international.
Okay.
So we are just still trying to get partnerships with our vendors and our manufacturers to give us the amount of product that is currently required. So we are streamlining a lot of things and setting up our base to be able to provide how much the requirement is right now.
That's encouraging to hear. Anjana, I wanted to ask you something. What about the karigars, the embroidery walas, and what's happening with them? I feel a lot because my family tailor was telling me that so many of his colleagues have lost their jobs, and if they go to the shops, they're told कि अभी कुछ नहीं होगा. What's happening to people like them?
In fact, I think one of the key lessons from this lockdown and the pandemic is going to be how well did you treat your employees and your staff? Yeah. Those are really the companies which are going to last through. There are a lot of senior designers who actually gone out of their way and done it. You initially start wanting to feel, you do feel empathy for all these people. But at the end of the day, each and every one of us are in the same boat.
Yeah.
It's just the magnitude of what we have to spend is different, or our expenses are different. So I also feel for the employers. I feel for the companies too.
Yes.
But so therefore, maybe there's a learning in this, and in the long run, you're actually prepping to be able to support your intrinsic staff for a longer period of time.
Yes.
But yes, it's tough. And actually, in terms of high-end fashion, it's now going to start telling. You see, because we were just on the verge of launching the summer collections.
Yes.
The pandemic started. Now people were sitting on a bit of stock. Now that is all gone because everyone went on sale and everyone was trying to bundle and doing all of that.
Yeah.
And now you're suddenly opening up and you're into your festive main buying season of the year. Yeah. But factories are not working on full capacity. Karigars are not back. No. So now is going to be the telling time of who survives and who doesn't survive.
Yes.
But if you ask me, how are they? I'm sorry, they're in a really bad shape. Forget about the karigars who are employed in cities. What about the weavers?
Yes.
What about the smaller, down to the basics in the villages, etc.? As it is a dying art. Yeah. You know, we are losing our culture. We are losing all of that. The question is, what's going to happen a year from now is when the true tale will come out about what is actually there or not there.
So can you think of something, a way that we can, Sharmila and Anjana and Amtosh, if you can also like save our Indian weavers, and you know, like maybe we can have a separate topic on that one day and see how we can help them, you know. I think it's a very important thing.
Everyone has tried to do it in very fractured manner, but Nandini, Sharmila, you all know the fashion industry is so fragmented over here in India.
Very.
First of all, calling it an industry is wrong. Yeah. Secondly, do you know that there's a GST imposed on all the weavers and all the karigars?
Oh my God!
The government is also not going to do something about it. Yes. It has to be top down. It has to be the fashion fraternity actually coming together and settling all these Bombay, Delhi divides, and you know, big designer, small designer, new designer, and all the, you know, I think everyone should leave their insecurities out now because there's no space for personal insecurities anymore.
So Sharmila, you are a great one to unify people. I think that is one of your most amazing qualities, your ability to bring people together. So what do you have to say about this, and will you start doing it?
You know, I feel now, like Anjana says, the fashion fraternity is going to completely change. There's no business for the big designers right now. This year's Diwali is not going to be great. This year's, I mean, Christmas, by Christmas hopefully, but we don't really buy that many new Indian clothes or whatever for Christmas. It's all about, since the lockdown has brought us down into basics, first start with an affordable collection. I think now it's a question of bringing even your big brand, start with something that everybody's going to afford it. And if you to balance your own bill books, you got to have a Pret and a festive collection going side by side.
You know, Tarun used the opportunity of the pandemic to launch his Pret line.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And look at what this boy did. He got stuff that you need during the pandemic.
What Amtosh did.
You have to do that.
I happened to see his site. I could not believe it. I told Shan, why didn't I see it throughout the lockdown? I would have been ordering every day. Because it is so affordable, Nandini. It has got the most amazing things. I mean, I really feel, Amtosh, I wanted to tell you today that when I went on your site and I wanted this one bubble umbrella and it was sold out, sold out, I can't believe it, wow. And then I said to myself, you need a slot in your thing for affordable fashion. You need to really take out your prop shop because it's Banya's, yes, everybody right now in the fashion fraternity, online, it's Banya. Because people are using it.
Amtosh has the complete knowledge and training in fashion. I worked with him in IMG at Lakme Fashion Week. He was part of my group for Stylista. He is very well connected within the fashion industry, but he knows how it operates, which is why he chooses to stay away.
So
I like what he does, this curator of cool. So curate some cool clothes.
Simple clothes. For example, why is Zara so popular? Because everything in Zara is below 5,000. It's only during November, December, you'll find a dress which is 6,000, 7,000, which is nothing. It's a full evening dress. So if Prop Shop has a collection below 5, my God, he'll just rock it. But people have to understand that they have to make collections below 5 because now, first of all, nobody's had an income in 6 months. So whether it's a housewife or it's a girl or it's a student, you have to have the money to shop. I mean, I went to the Zara sale. Shan told me, I'll take you there, Mom, but you're sitting in the car and I'm going in. When it first started in July, there were 10 people standing outside. Zara is a place where there were queues. You could never enter.
Now 10.
I mean, of course, the sale went on for 1 month and then I went later and there were people. But I always say Zara and H&M is your thing about how you should have stylish, affordable clothes.
Unfortunately, that is the business of scale. They are priced like that
because they have so many. Yeah.
But you know what? Let me tell you today, every designer's Pret collection does not have to be scaled, but it can be in various sizes and maybe 10 pieces. But I'm trying to say...
But because the Indian definition of Pret is a convenient definition.
It's a very different definition. So I'd like to know, Amtosh, how you started doing props. What is it that inspired you to do something so funky and so super cool?
Yeah.
What is it? What was your inspiration?
So I think while I was working at IMG, during the Lakme Fashion Week and the IPL days, Facebook was just picking up. Things were moving online. I remember we set up the Fashion Week website to have online registrations. Before that, we used to send printed out forms across the country to about 5,000-7,000 designers for them to apply. We shifted that online. It became simpler. We started a YouTube channel. We started a Facebook group. You couldn't start pages at that time. And I just love the online space. I love the fact that you get so much data. You can look at where your users are coming from. You can look at what they're viewing, what are the kind of images they're looking at, what they're liking, and accordingly take that data and create something that would be interesting for your audience versus sitting in the dark and not knowing exactly what you're doing and whether people would like it or not.
Yeah.
Using all of that information, I then created something while I was at Fashion Week called LFW TV, which was live streaming of shows. And we did all these cute snippets, behind the scenes action, celebrity interviews, collection reviews hosted by Bandana Tiwari. The first season itself, we got 60 lakh views.
Wow.
Across the world. And I was in shock. And that was the first time I looked at big data as far as online is concerned. And I was like, wow, this is where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, me and my best friend, we were talking about starting something and what should we do. I love design. I love traveling. I love those little corner shops when you're walking on the streets in Europe, which have these knickknacks. You go in there and you don't know what you want, but you want things. Yeah. You just want to buy things. You may not need them, but you want to buy them. You know, and then you end up buying like 20. You're like, hey, this one will like this thing. This one will like that thing. So that was the original idea, was to start a little shop of knickknacks. Something that you can go and buy gifts, because if you look at the online gift stores that are there in India currently, and I obviously mean no disrespect, but they are very typical. Your Cadbury chocolate and rose bouquet bundle. There's nothing cute and different and quirky about. Or I love my sister in a frame. There's nothing like really, So that was the idea. And then looking at the data, we grew. And then from 2012 to 2016, I was pretty much running it as a passion project, working with Anfarm and Anjana on the side at that point. And once I felt like we were at that tipping point where if I put in all of my efforts, we could really scale, I quit and I took it on full time. And it's just been crazy since then.
Wow. Amazing.
It's an amazing site. I can't tell you, I really enjoyed getting on it. And there's so much to see. And it's so affordable.
And colorful. And so colorful.
Of that. I just said, this is so cute.
Thank you so much, and I hope that in the future, whenever we talk, you have an Amazon, Nykaa, and a prop shop parcel arriving at your house every day.
Yes, I will.
For sure.
Today I booked 3 things of 3 each. I loved it.
So Anjana, sorry, continue.
No, I was going to tell Anjana. I said your idea of this affordable on Purnias is amazing. Purnias should definitely start home products, because Purnias is internationally already known. Because my cousin in LA once said, I'm going to order this on Purnias. And I said, really? How come? She said, because everybody in America orders from Purnia. And I said, wow.
America, Europe, all over.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She bought a full Tarun Lehenga, my friend cousin, Dimple. She bought a full Tarun Lehenga.
From Purnia. Wow.
Yeah. So online is the way to go. There's no other way to do it. For everything, it's online.
Especially now, we don't know how often this is going to happen, this social distancing. We have no clue
so my question actually to 2 of you is, you think it's going to continue online, or is it just because of the lockdown that this extra thing has happened? Extra buy?
In case of fashion, I don't think that you can ever replace a brick and mortar. I think what's going to work is a blended omni-channel kind of an approach, which again works for the convenience of the customer. So it could be browse the entire, you go to a store, you have limited stock. But if you go, like we have 9 stores and we have one in London also. But what happens is when they see the whole range online, Then they can even ask for something to be sent to a specific store or the trial and fittings. So I think it's going to be, and also at the end of the day, at a certain price point, Sharmila, you would expect customer service of a certain type. And in Indian clothes, fittings are always so important. So having said that, I think in terms of fashion and especially high-end fashion, it's going to be an omni-channel way of going.
Okay.
But I think in terms of the way Amtosh's products are, it's I think
online.
For him, he doesn't have to invest in brick and mortar beyond a point.
We actually tried a store 2 years ago, and the complaint that we constantly had of people coming to our store was, why are there so few products? So I said, because it's not a website where I can have 40,000 products, it's a store, so I can have only a small selection. So everyone, it worked as a good marketing front for people to kind of get to know the brand in case they didn't, but everybody wanted to convert onto an online shop. On our online shop.
Oh, that's great. So basically, online is the way to go. But for people like us at Spicy Sangria, we do need to start exhibitions. Because let me tell you, online,
people need to try the clothes on also, as Anjana said.
Yeah, and you need to try.
Especially Indian clothes.
Something like Amtosh will do very well even later, I'm sure, because that's amazing online. But Amtosh, you better start a fashion channel. I mean, that's also be fabulous.
I'll be your first customer.
Yes.
I think I had my time with fashion already in the past, and now looking at the data of how much fashion returns are. So typically, e-commerce fashion returns are anywhere between 25 to 35%. So that's something that you have to factor into the cost. You see, what happens with us is, you take it from, let's say in this case, a designer, you then pay to ship it to the customer, you then pay to ship it back, you then pay to launder it in case it has stains, you then repack it and then hope it sells again.
Wow.
So there's a lot, and logistically for us, being in this market where there are less returns, products that you see, as long as it looks and arrives similar to what it was on the website, you're going to be happy with it and not return it. So our returns are very low, which is a huge cost saving for us. Just to put things in perspective, if 30% of your orders are returns, and you're getting, let's say, 10,000 orders a month, that's 3,000 orders being returned, where you're paying for shipping and the return cost logistically for those products. And then if people have tried them on sweat stains, dirt, etc., laundering them, it's just too expensive. So at the moment, I don't think that we have the scale to be doing fashion, and it's not something I've looked at. There's too many people doing it.
Basically, besides being a curator of cool, you also know the business very well. I think that's very important to understand the entire business.
That's why it's Spicy. Nandini, we charge the designer. It's like a virtual. I don't even want to say it's a virtual exhibition. It's just a virtual Spicy Sangria edit where we charge the designer to promote you and do all that in different handles on social media. And whoever buys something deals with the designer
directly. Okay.
So whether they are couriering, they are doing, sending back and forth.
So
I have to say about Spicy Sangria, because I've been meaning to say it right since the beginning. The amazing thing about Sharmila and Shan is the reason why they are different as far as the exhibitions are concerned. Every exhibition takes a space, has 100 stalls to fill, and doesn't really care about who those 100 stalls are. With Spicy Sangria, that they go out of their way to find the brands. And I have done so many exhibitions with them. And both, like Shan, for example, the opportunities that she's given me in the past on a personal level, because she realizes we've chatted, she realizes I understand about the business and e-commerce. And way before Prop Shop was even anything, she invited me to speak at my very first panel that I spoke on in my life. I remember sitting there on that chair and my legs were shaking like this, and I was hoping nobody could see. I get so nervous public speaking, but she's just they're just a supporter of people, and they take the time to find those brands. Not only the same ones.
Also give advice to people. You always do that, Sharmila, I've seen. Not only do you curate the show, but you help the person sell. That's very, very rare. But their nature is of generosity.
Right now I'm helping everybody doing food for home. I can't tell you the amount of orders people are getting, but restaurants are closed. And they have a menu, and it's good to just help them, promote them, and restaurants are really suffering. I mean, at least the fashion stores have opened, the salons have opened, now the gyms of course are suffering also, they will open. But you need to encourage younger people. You need to encourage them, because they don't know so many people to do so much social media, or they don't know so many people where to sell. And in this lockdown, people have got stuck with stock. So whether they're doing home products or whether they're doing, fashion or whether they're doing anything, they've got stuff with stock. So that's why we did a whole sale thing on Spicy Sangria. Everybody who's on sale, we promoted them like crazy. I can't tell you how much they sold. I said, don't come to me and say 10% off. This lockdown is not for 10%, 20%. I want 50% off. Yes. Get rid of your stock. You need to make a new stock before the next season starts. So come to me with the 50 to 70% off and you'll do well, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So for a bit of fun before we finish, Anjana, what are 3 must-haves in your wardrobe for every woman? Ooh. 3 must-haves in your wardrobe because you're a style diva. So 3 must-haves in your wardrobe for every woman.
Slippers.
Full black outfit.
That is not fair because Sharmila, that I'll slipper.
You can't just say slippers. You have to say what type. You have to give me specifics.
I would say. No, I'm not slip. I would say one absolutely stunning Kanjivaram sari.
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Definitely a beautiful detailed white shirt. Wow. Either with detailed sleeves or collar for sure.
Yes.
And a beautiful Wendell Roderick slip dress.
She's got the best Wendell anyway.
I love it. I love it. I would love it if you send us photographs of these things, which I'll put on your video. Yeah, I'll just mail them. Great. Amtosh, 3 must-haves from the curators of Cool for your home.
I was hoping you weren't going to ask me the fashion question because I was picking up an answer already.
Very dapper.
Knickknacks. 3 must-haves.
The garlic cutter.
A planter. I love planters. I don't know if you can see in the.
But yes, I can.
These are all from the side. So I love planters. Even a small size planter on your desk with a little plant in it. It's so cheerful.
I agree.
A really nice notebook. I write down everything so I don't forget.
Yes.
And we have such nice photo frames, such amazing photo frames. Just like so, you can have like your favorite memory in there. I have, my mom's photograph, my dog's photograph, my sister's photograph on my office desk. And it just cheers me up. So the planter, the nice book to keep everything organized, and the photo frame.
Will you send me these 3 pictures, please?
I will send them to you after
and
this.
Sharmila, because for me, you are also like a style diva. What should a woman have of all ages? Can start off with teenagers to 80. What should women, young girls, teenagers, step out of the house with? This is for girls. I'll ask you for guys also. When you step out of the house, what are 3 things you should have as a female?
Okay, one thing is for sure, carry a lipstick or a kajal. You never know where you're going. You never know who you're going to meet. So quickly put on a lipstick or a kajal.
Yeah.
Secondly, I always have a pair of shoes in the car. So even if I'm roaming around in sneakers and if I've got to get into a meeting, I have a pair of shoes in the car.
Okay.
And at my age, I cannot leave without my glasses because then I won't be able to see the person I'm having a meeting with.
Okay. No, you have to tell me something for everybody.
For everybody, well, in your closet, I would say I would definitely keep. You said in your closet, or where did
as you step out. For a woman, when you step out.
Yes. Like I said, sunglasses, makeup, and when you step out, a bottle of perfume, I think.
Okay, lovely. And for guys,
in the car.
What do you think guys should have?
You should have.
Guys. Like what
guys
should
guys should definitely have an aftershave. They should definitely have a pair of sunglasses for the day. And when they get out, everybody needs their phone. I think at some point you need your phone.
So. And Anjana, you said?
I was saying, and guys should remember to carry their manners with them out.
Oh yes, we're going to be talking about that very soon. 3-4 sessions. So hey guys, look, we have style divas, curators of Cool, and Sharmila, who talks to us every Saturday about new things. I hope you've learned a lot from this session. Thank you so much, Anjana. It's just lovely to see you after so many years. Thank you, Amtosh. You are pretty amazing. I just love this Prop Shop 24, and I'm going to definitely check it out. And thank you so much, Sharmila, for always thinking of an amazing topic of interest for everybody.
You're welcome, my dear.
Thank you. Great fun talking to you, ladies.
See you guys. See you.
Bye, everyone. See you.
Bye.
Do subscribe to my channel and press the like button. And don't forget to share this with all your friends.